Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to day 47 of 99 days of deeper embodiment. Let's just pause to take a moment to really ground into the space, to really be present here and now, and to be aware that I am what is present, I am what is aware. Orange is the new black, says Jessica. Yeah, this wall is quite orange, it's nice. Uh, so today on day 47, I have a tool in my hand today. This is what I call a rod. It is a piece of metal. It has a little handle. You can see it here. You can kind of make one if you want to out of a wire hanger or whatever you want to use. And so this little piece of metal I hold in my hand. And so as I hold it in my hand, this is really supportive in allowing the ideas to flow through the body with grace and ease. So it is an embodiment tool because the wand or the rod, I like to call it a rod, but that's what it was originally called for me when I was introduced to this tool. Uh, but some people call it a wand. So this wire goes into the awareness that surrounds me. Okay, so let's imagine that surrounding me is pure awareness. Surrounding this idea of a body is pure awareness always. And so, what is pure awareness? It is energy, it is light, it is electricity. When light is used, when the term light is used, oftentimes within spiritual communities, when it is used, it is an idea. Okay. So, what is the mind's idea of light? The mind's idea of light is what illuminates. That's the mind's idea of light. And so when this word light is used within spiritual communities, it's usually just referring to the idea of light. It's not referring to actual light. Actual light is mysterious. Actual light is something that can't really be defined. Actual light, depending on how we observe it or look at it, changes its characteristics. Actual light is pure energy. Actual light is everywhere all the time. And so light can be a synonym for awareness because what is it that illuminates consciousness? What is it that is conscious? Light is conscious. You are that. You are consciousness. You are awareness. And so this light, which is intelligence itself, is a force. It is an energy, like electricity, and it can be felt as electricity. It can be touched as electricity. So the more aware that I am as that I am awareness, that I am this intelligence, this force that is undescribable, that can't be put into any sort of a box as far as defined. Any scientist that's tried to actually observe light has found that the properties of light vary based on how it's observed, and that it really doesn't make any sense from a classical physics way of perceiving the universe. It is both a particle and an energy, a substance and not a substance. And so, as I am embodying what I am, which is awareness, which is light, don't let the word light, when I say awareness, get stuck, because it will. If I say that you are light, then all of a sudden the mind grabs that, and then you're no longer touching light, and you're no longer touching what you are. You're no longer touching presence. You're no longer touching awareness. All of a sudden, your mind just goes into imaginations of light. Oh, I imagine a rainbow. Oh, I imagine light. No, that's imagination. That's thought. Touch what you are. Touch the light that you are. Touch the awareness that you are. This is a power. This is a force. This is a force that cannot be understood by the mind. This is a force that dissolves the mind. The mind dissolves within it. And when I say that the mind dissolves within it, all thought dissolves within it. It is pure force, pure awareness, pure electricity. And so, this tool, this rod, what this is doing is any ideas that are stuck in the body, any ideas that have been difficult to move through the body, if I just hold it and see that it is going into the pure awareness that is always around the body, then those ideas start to move through the body all on their own. What is the body but a container for ideas? A system designed to hold memory. That's all the body is. It's just memory. And what is memory but ideas? And so, what does the body do? The body refracts the awareness, the light that is here, always. It bends it, it distorts it. As light comes into the eyeball, what is the eyeball doing with it? It's bending it, it's distorting it. And as it bends it and it distorts it, then the mind interprets what is seen. It interprets those images. And it interprets those images based on what? Based on ideas. And where do those ideas come from? Memory. And so the more memory there is, the more ideas there are in the body, the heavier the body becomes. The more dense the body is, and that the body is filled with ideas. And so the denser the body is, the more filled with ideas the body is, the less awareness there is within the structure of the body. And the less awareness there is within the structure of the body, the less embodiment there is. And the less embodiment there is within the structure of the body, the more ideas there are moving the body. So we can kind of imagine it this way, right? There is a flow of electricity. There's a flow of awareness that is constantly flowing like a river through all that is. It is like a current of awareness, a current of electricity that is always flowing. And then there is a light bulb. Now, when the current is flowing, there is no actual light until the current hits a light bulb. And what does the light bulb do? The light bulb resists the current. And when it resists the current, this produces heat and light at the same time. And that is how light is produced in a light bulb. So when there's no resistance, there's no heat and there's no light, there's just the current of invisible awareness, of invisible electricity. And as soon as that current hits resistance in the form of the light bulb, then the light bulb lights up. And this is the same thing that is happening with your body. Your body is a light bulb, it is resistance. The ideas that are within your body are creating resistance to what is, which is the electricity, the awareness that is all around you all the time, that is in and through you, that is what is. And so all of the ideas that form the structure of the body, that is resistance. That is mind. And that resistance creates illusions, perception. It creates form. So everything that you perceive absolutely everything, is created because of the resistance that is within your own mind. There is no other. That is how everything in all of perception is formed. And so when the body begins to process more light, begins to embody more awareness, which is often referred to as awakening or a Kundalini awakening or a spiritual experience, or we have many, many different ways of describing this. It's all different ways of describing that the body is now processing more awareness, more light. Then what begins to happen is that the debris or the resistance, the ideas and the images that are in memory that have been creating resistance, they begin to dislodge. So imagine that the current, the river of awareness, is moving through the circuitry of your body. And as it moves through the circuitry of your body, then it's moving through a lot of resistance. And that resistance creates pools of energy in your body that are often referred to as chakras. And each one of those has a different tint, a different way of distorting the light. And in between each one is a lot of debris, a lot of ideas. They're all images and charges. Charges being ideas that have a sensation, ideas that have an emotional sensation to them. Now, emotional charges and ideas are not different. What are emotional charges? Emotional charges are ideas that have not been fully met, in the sense that they have not been dissolved into the presence that you are. They are resistance. They have not been fully felt. So that creates resistance. And so when there is more awareness moving through the body, when there is more current flowing through the body, then these ideas, the emotional charges and the images around them, begin to dislodge. The debris begins to come up. And as it begins to come up, then this is experienced as symptoms, which can be described as anxiety, can be described as some sort of emotional disorder, can be described as physical symptoms, can be described as detoxification symptoms. We have many ways of describing this, and it's all talking about the same thing. What it is the awareness that you are yourself is now flowing through the circuitry of the body with more intensity. And as it flows through the circuitry of your body with more intensity, it brings up more of the debris, more of the ideas, more of the emotional charges, more of the memory that is there. And that memory, that debris needs to be felt, needs to be processed. And so, one way of feeling this is a tool. This is a tool because I can sit, I can get comfortable, hold this tool, and it helps me stabilize here and now and just drop deeper and deeper into being present here and feeling what is here. And bringing more and more and more focus to the current rather than the ideas themselves, rather than the emotional charges themselves, but focus to the flow, the current of electricity, of awareness. So bringing that focus to feeling the electricity, feeling the awareness flow throughout the body. And as I bring the focus to that flow within the body, then that begins to clear out more and more and more of the debris. And this is embodiment. And this dissolves the memory, this dissolves the images, this dissolves the emotions that are creating resistance. And the more memory, the more charges, the more ideas are dissolved, the more flow there is through the body, the more electricity that flows through the body. And the body begins to lighten. Now, as the body is lightening, then there are a lot of ways that the body asks to be supported. There are a lot of helpful ways to support the body because it can be very jarring to be lightening while you're still trying to hold on to the old way of living. If you're still trying to hold on to the old way that you lived before your body began to lighten and before you began to embody more awareness, then this can be very jarring. This can be very painful. It can be quite difficult. And so one way of speaking about this is saying that, okay, well, now I'm aligning myself with myself. I am coming more into alignment. This is just a way of speaking about supporting the body more as more awareness is being embodied. So coming more into alignment with what is natural, what is naturally arising, what is here, as opposed to fighting with it, trying to continue to live the old way, trying to continue to um, energize old ideas of who and what you are, and fit yourself into those concepts still. So when moving into deeper embodiment, it becomes really necessary to start to really tune in to what is the most supportive for your body, because it is actually quite physically jarring. It is not a physical friendly process. It is physically intense to be feeling all the time what is here, and to allow awareness to begin to flush it out, to dissolve it, to embody more of you. And so in that, there's a lot of detoxification symptoms that begin to come up, a lot of emotions to feel. And sometimes this can be debilitating in the world's perception of what is supposed to be there. So, in your old way of perceiving the way that you should be, you would see this as debilitating. You would see this as there's something being wrong. But in truth, there's nothing actually wrong. It's actually very right. This is an organic process. It is an organic process where your body is embodying more presence, more awareness, more of you, and is dissolving memory, dissolving um, ideas and debris that has been there for many, 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 many lifetimes. And so it is a natural transformation. So in truth, when we're talking about deeper embodiment, there's nothing for you to actually do, in the sense that deeper embodiment is doing itself. If you are here and you're listening to me and you're following me, then you've begun to embody more awareness. And it is something that is doing you. You're not doing it. And as it is doing you, it is an organic process, it is a natural process. And your responsibility is not to try to get in the way of it. Not to get in the way of it means to really tune into what is the most supportive for you. And so in my experience, the most supportive for me might be moving to a new environment, because it can be more supportive for me to be in an environment where there's less ideas, so that I can be more in tune with me. Or it might be um, a lot of massage for a week, because I'm moving through something that is emotionally dense. And so to break up emotional ridges and to break up emotional density in the limbic system and in the emotional body requires a lot of tapping, a lot of massage. I'll actually show you one of my tools for that. It's right over here. This is a massage wand. Okay. So what I can do with this is I can get very clear with my intentions, and I can just kind of use EFT statements. I am whole and complete here and now. I am truth. I am whole and complete here and now. I am love. I am whole and complete here and now. I am love. I am love. I am love. I am loved. I embody love. I am loved. I embody love. I am loved. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. As the tapping helps to allow my consciousness to move in and through the ridges. Okay, so I'm just connecting the circuitry, which the circuitry is already connected, but I'm becoming more aware of it. So as I become aware of it, that's where my energy flows. So as I'm allowing myself to become more aware of the circuitry that's there, then as I empower my awareness, as I make myself more aware of the love that's flowing through the body, of the love that I am, of the love that is this awareness, that is this electricity that is moving through the body, as I empower that awareness, then I use the statements to move in and through anything that is in alignment with that. I'm whole and complete here now. Boom, wave of awareness. I am whole and complete here now. Boom, wave of awareness. I am whole and complete here now. Boom, wave of awareness. And this begins to break up the emotional ridges. It begins to break up the dense emotional structures. The which can be felt in the body when you're really in the body as uncomfortability. It can be felt as ridges, which I've used that word a number of times. It can be felt as dense sensations. Okay, and so the more you can go into these dense sensations, the more they begin to open, and the more they begin to align themselves with the truth of you, which is this electricity, this love that's always there. And then as they begin to open, as they begin to align with you, then they dissolve into you. And as it dissolves into you, then the structure of it will show its emotional um, form. And so the emotional form of it, as it begins to dissolve, may feel like there might be a layer of anger, then there might be a layer of sadness, then there might be a layer of bliss. Okay. And so these emotional structures are how we embody as we dissolve them fully and completely. This is how we embody. This is the actual um, technicality of embodying. And so when something is arising and you are embodying, if you can't get into it, if you can't feel through it, if you can't meet it, then you start reacting to it. And as you start reacting to it, your reality gets shaky. Your reality, rather than being centered around you, rather than being very secure in yourself and having it centered around you, then your reality gets shaky, your field gets shaky, right? And then you start to feel panic come up. And this is a sign that you're not meeting something that is there fully. As soon as you start to feel panic come up, that's a sign that something is hitting you and you're not aware of it. You're not bringing more presence to it. You're not bringing more awareness to it. Okay, so there is a comment here. I'm gonna reply to that. Jessica says, I have a lot of resistance against a healthy lifestyle. Every time I try to change it, I feel more symptoms. So I just lay down. Today I went to the store and had this strange feeling while I was buying my cigarettes. Food looks strange as well. Okay. Um, in my own experience in embodying deeper, uh, this has ebbed and flowed. Okay. So I've had periods where I needed to get really, really clear in my eating. So I've had periods where I was fruitarian. I've had periods where I didn't eat anything at all, only water. I've had periods where I dry fasted, which was no food and no water at all. I've had periods where I ate only rice and lentils for a period of time. And then I've had periods where I've eaten lots of junk food, including McDonald's, right? And so this all varies. I've also had periods where I smoked a lot of cigarettes, and then periods where I could no longer do that. And if I had tried to smoke cigarettes when my body wasn't pulling for them or when there was no reason to, then it would have just um, created a lot of how do I put it? Like it would have just been very painful for me, right? So currently now I just eat what makes me happy. And I don't need a lot. I eat very little, actually. I don't need a lot to eat. Also, I don't smoke any cigarettes. I don't drink any alcohol, and I don't do any sort of prescription drugs or marijuana or any plant medicines at all. My body is so there's so much awareness and so much electricity moving through my body at this point that even if I'm around cigarettes, then it starts to get into my light body and it starts to feel very dense and heavy, and it's not comfortable. right? So if I'm around tobacco, yeah, it's just uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because I can feel the the tar. I can feel the consistency of that energy. I can feel the way that that energy like comes into the body and begins to coat everything with like a yellow tint. It's like an oily yellow tint. And as it gets into the body and it coats everything with that oily yellow tint, then it affects my ability to see clearly. I start to see distorted. I start to see things with a yellow tint. Actually, honestly, and then as I start to see things with a yellow tint, it makes it more difficult for me to process the emotional energy that's there. And not only does it make it more difficult for me to feel the emotional energy and process it and meet it, but the emotional energy starts to look like demons. It starts to look like really ugly forms, like forms that you wouldn't want to see, right? Where normally when my light body isn't coated like that, when that emotional energy shows up, it doesn't show up in an ugly way. It shows up in a way where it's just anger and I can just feel it. And it's just like, oh wow, there's anger here. Whoop. And I just feel it immediately. So when my body is coated with that energy of tobacco, then it actually like starts to create what looks like a demonic realm around me, what looks like something very ugly. Right. So that's why I don't feel a pull for that. Right. However, that being said, um, I have noticed that there have been times that I wanted to slow down in my embodiment. I wanted to, there was like a natural pull to be denser. Like it was easier to be denser because there was a lot of dense bodies around me. There was a lot of dense ideas around me. And so there was a pull towards tobacco. There was a pull towards smoking. However, now that has dropped away, and what is here is that it feels more fun to just be light and to be with that. Okay. So yeah. Um, Interesting. Yeah. It's interesting when you say this. I'm just gonna point this one out, Jessica. You say no, I don't have problems with cigarettes for now. Um, I don't understand what you mean when you say problems because I don't see anything as a problem. So that feels like your own judgment around it. So I'm just going to reflect that back for you. Okay. So wonderful. Thank you. I think that now on day 47, we're really getting into the technical aspects of embodiment and we're getting into more of my own experience with it. And this feels fun. So thank you for being with me here today. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.